Hey everyone, my name is Wedge and welcome back to our Commander Spotlight series. Now that Shadows over Innistrad has been out for a while, we're drowning in Commander goodness. Y'all are incredibly creative and love to stick commanders all over the place. In this video, I'm going to tell you all the best uses for each of the eligible commanders that were printed in Shadows over Innistrad. Hold on to your butts. If you like this video and want more videos like this, make sure to hit that like button, helps out a lot. We'll begin with the angel we all know and love, Archangel Addison. 5 mana for a 4/4 angel with flash, flying, and vigilance. When she enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. Incredibly powerful ability in Commander. Of course, when a non-angel you control dies, she does transform and bolts everything at the beginning of the next upkeep, also devastating in Commander, especially multiplayer games. So where does this redonkulous angel fit? Archangel Addison does have her own deck. You can run her as the commander. The first thing you should know, she has white and red color identity. That's right, her second face is a red card that gives her red color identity. So the deck you build with your new red-white angel is basically a meld of a Gisela combat-oriented deck and a weird flicker strategy. You play all the insane angels you did before, like Gisela, Aurelia, Herald of War, Angel of Serenity, stuff like that. But in addition to the angel craziness, you play things like Eerie Interlude, Eldrazi Displacer, and then ways to take advantage of that with creatures like Karmic Guide or Sun Titan. 2 cards you're probably playing anyways, to be honest. Anyways, your deck runs like a combat angels deck very similarly to Gisela or Aurelia. As a matter of fact, you could just switch them out if you want to. Although if you plan on putting Gisela back into the deck, you should remove more of those flicker cards you're going to put in, not nearly as good. If you're looking for good places for Addison as part of the 99, you could go with the aforementioned Gisela, but you could also fit her into a brutal Kalia or Teriel deck. Both are great places for her. Have fun saving everything, then subsequently destroying it. Yay, angels. Some fun, lesser-known cards for Addison. Repercussion, Gratuitous Violence, Furnace of Wrath, Dictate of the Twin Gods. That flip is gonna hurt. Next up is Odric Lunarch Marshal, 4 mana for a 3/3 human soldier. At the beginning of each combat, creatures you control gain first strike until end of turn if a creature you control has first strike. The same is true for flying, death touch, double strike, blah blah blah, you get it. Odric totally has a deck built around him. It's an equipment deck. As it clearly shows on his text, George Clooney needs combat stats to be relevant. Equipment gets you there easier than creatures do. Classic inclusions like Swiftfoot Boots are joined by now very powerful equipments like Haunted Cloak, Chariot of Victory, and Loxodon Warhammer. We're talking about a collection of the nastiest, most awesome battle equipment you can find. Which all works out because this is a mono-white deck, and mono-white is great at searching for equipment. To make sure you get all your weapons out, Open the Armory, Stonehewer Giant, Steel Shaper's Gift, and Enlightened Tutor are all great inclusions. Once you get your equipment and Odric online, you're going to need creatures to take advantage of all these new abilities. This is essentially where your deck becomes a soldier deck. Elspeth's Son's Champion, Captain of the Watch, Increasing Devotion, Deploy to the Front, you know how this goes. Tons of token producers, add in bomb cards like Cathar's Crusade, Jazal Goldmane, Marshalku, and Baneslayer Angel, and you're on your way to a stupidly powerful mono-white commander deck. Now, I wouldn't recommend putting Odric into many other strategies, since his ability is more suited to be built around, but if you are insistent on playing him, Sigarda Heron's Grace is the best place. Haven't seen him anywhere else where he's been particularly impactful, but that's just me. Do what makes you happy. Final note, some sweet tech for Odric you might not know about. Basilisk Collar, Mobilization, Concerted Effort to mirror Odric in a way, and Paragon of New Dawns. Enjoy. We were just talking about Sigarda Heron's Grace, so let's go over her next. 3 of anything, 1 green and 1 white for a 4/5 angel with flying. You and humans you control have hexproof. You can also pay 2 of anything and exile a card from your graveyard to put a 1/1 white human soldier token onto the battlefield. In case you couldn't guess, Sigarda is now the premier white-green human commander. That's where she belongs, and that's where she's going to stay, for sure. Before her, it was Anafenza, kind of, so you'd be happy. Champion of Lambholt is your biggest payoff for being in green. You also get quality green cards like Eternal Witness, Mirari's Wake, Veteran Cathar, and Mayor of Avabrook, among many others. The core of your deck is definitely white, though. Mentor of the Meek is made for human strategies, as is Thalia's Lieutenant, Champion of the Parish, and Angel of Glory's Rise. Make the deck relatively proactive, with Silverblade Paladin, Herald of War, Imposing Sovereign to be an annoyance, Archetype of Courage if you're into being hated by everyone. There really is a ton you can do with this strategy. The colors go deep. Hamlet Captain, Angelic Overseer, Thraben Doomsayer, I'm telling you, you want to build green-white humans in Commander? Here's your chance. Some neat lesser-known cards for Sigarda: Deranged Outcast, Gallows at Willow Hill, and Kamal Fist of Kroza. Enjoy. Olivia Mobilized for War is one of anything, one black and one red for a 3/3 Vampire Knight with flying. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may discard a card. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. It gains haste until end of turn, and it's a vampire. Looking quickly at Olivia, you'd think you're going to build an aggressive vampire deck. Well, you're right. That's exactly what you're going to do. You were given delicious ingredients like Falconwrath Gorger, Bloodghast, Heir to Falconwrath, Olivia's Bloodsworn. These all scream aggro. Once you get a few early threats down, your support cards kick in real strong. Captivating Vampire, Stromkirk Captain, Stensia Masquerade, wow. Don't even get me started on Madness, so powerful in Commander with all the enablers and ways to take advantage. Older cards like Big Game Hunter and Grave Scrabbler find additional value. Sound good to you? Awesome. Stick those big baddies next to absolutely dominating spells like Terminate, Phyrexian Arena, From Under the Floorboards, and Wheel of Fortune. You got yourself a party. Even if the game goes late, think about the options you have. Olivia Voldaren takes over the game. Anowin the Ruin Sage is just the worst. Necropolis Regent isn't even fair. Dark Impostor causes rage quits for days. You have options. Go vampire nuts. This deck is just waiting for you to build it. It's really fast, really fun, and super brutal. Some lesser known cards for Olivia: Vein Drinker, Blood Tribute, Urge to Feed, and Black Market. Some of my favorites. Last but certainly not least is the Gitrog monster. 3 of anything, 1 black and 1 green for a 6/6 frog horror with Death Touch. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice the monster unless you sacrifice a land. Whenever 1 or more land cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, draw a card. Clearly we have a theme here. Lands need to die. They need to die real bad. Good thing we've done this before. This deck is going to be Titania, Protector of Argith, but with more blackness. Life from the Loam is in your deck, or you aren't playing it at all. So is Crop Rotation, Exploration, Harrow, Sylvan Safekeeper. These are all staple cards in this land sacrifice deck. If you can afford it, Crucible of Worlds is a big help too. If you can afford it. Adding in black to this land sack deck brings with it some value. Dakmor Salvage is a nice addition, as is Baron Moor to accompany Tranquil Thicket. Worm Harvest is a nice way to get a land in the yard. Stinkweed, Imp, Dredges, which is where you want to be. Even cards as weird as Scourge Familiar can help you ramp and fill your yard with goodness. Now you're going to be discarding all this land, drawing cards, doing it again over and over. How do you win? Simple. Big green and black landfall stuff in combination with a few broken synergies. Avenger of Zendikar is great, Rampaging Balos is nice. Obviously Golgari Grave Troll isn't fair at all. Mazarek Crawl Priest lets you put +1/+1 counters on everything when you sack a land every turn. This is what the deck is about. You utilize ramp spells on ramp creatures, play the monster or something giant, filter your lands away, bring them back, get value and cards, then win the attrition game by simply overpowering your opponent with your recurring value. Some lesser known cards for the Gitrog: Lord of Extinction, Ulvenwald Hydra, Horn of Greed, and Edge of Autumn. Good stuff. A bit of sad news. If you aren't going to run the monster as the commander, you might as well not run it. The synergies required to make the monster good are so specific, it's difficult to justify its inclusion in anything else ever. Just don't do it. Look at it. It's clearly meant to lead, I think, maybe. I don't know, to be honest. It is eating a dude. As always, subscribe for the latest and most reliable Magic the Gathering information you could ever need. This is the Manosaurus. I'm Wedge. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. This video was brought to you in part by TCGplayer.com. We're talking Commander, so let's talk Commanders. The Gitrog monster has finally come down in price. You can get a copy of the frog for $3 right now. Pretty great price considering how often decks are made around it. Good one to have. Not a frog fan? No problem. How about Sigarda? It doesn't even make sense how cheap new Sigarda is. We're talking $2. $2 for the only good white-green human commander? Sure, that makes sense. Be sure to get your copy now before players come to their senses. Wow.